we talked about it briefly during the polls, were the OEO in-demand industries and occupations. I recommended that people focus their efforts on the in-demand industries and occupations when looking at, working with clients, economic planning, workforce planning. No one industry or occupation is going to work for each local area. I recommend looking at the resources on the OEO website and using the interactive tools on the OEO website to explore. I'll be going over those super briefly today since we went over all of them last time, but just as a reminder. This is going to be an overview of the tools on our website and how they can be used. This is going to be a lot of information. It's going to be more of an overview of all of the resources rather than a deep dive as I go through. Well, first, the topics that I'm going to be going over are going to be information on employment and wages, unemployment, a little bit on our employment projections, population characteristics or demographics, and then the in-demand jobs, which I'll be going over very briefly since that was our focus last week. Throughout this, I'm going to be highlighting our website's usability. We do have data compiled from multiple different sources. So instead of going to the Bureau of Labor Statistics and downloading the information from them, we already have it all compiled on our website in one easy to navigate area. So hopefully that saves you time. And then you're also able to access this data on the Tableau tools that I'll be going over, or our data visualizations, and then also in spreadsheet format. And we update our data very regularly. As soon as we are allowed to release the numbers from BLS, within the hour, we update the information. So very up to date in that way. All right, so our website is called, the redirect name to it is laborstats.az.gov. And this is a screenshot of it, and I'll go ahead and show you in real time what it looks like. So our website is split into two categories, labor market and population. I will mainly be going over the labor market section since we're going over labor market information, and I am on the labor market team. We also have some resources for population as well. The state demographer, Jim Chang, and his team are also within the Office of Economic Opportunity, and they do have resources on their website available. So I will be highlighting a couple of those that I think would be applicable here today. Scrolling down here, we have our information for our monthly press release, which is what, if you attended on April 15th, that was what you saw. So we have the press release presentation here, and then read the press release. So you can see, usually people like to know the unemployment rate. You can also see our press release schedule and when those numbers come out. You can also sign up, receive monthly employment updates. You can click there and get this information sent straight to your email if that is something that you're interested in. So you don't have to, not know when it's going to come out. It'll be sent straight to you. Scrolling down, we have what we call our economic indicator tiles. We have 27 of these on our homepage already. So even without going anywhere on our website, you already get a great overview of what's going on in the economy. So you'll see the unemployment rate, the labor force size. I'm not going to go over every single one of these. You can go ahead and take a look at these on our website. And scrolling down here, there are also population tiles or information as well. Notice, so this is set to Arizona. If you click this, this is a drop down, and it shows all of the information that's available for the counties and the metro statistical areas, or MSAs. So say if I select Pinal County, then all of this information here adjusts to show the information that's available for your selected area. So I just wanted to note that that is there and available, and you get a lot of resources before you even go anywhere on the website. So scrolling back up here, like I said, I'll be going over the labor market sections mainly. And if you're ever go to our website and you're unsure about where to go, I recommend just clicking the labor market photo or tile here. And this will take you to this page here. I just went ahead and preloaded it. It will take you to the information here so you can see employment, occupations, projections. All of the pages are linked here. I will be going over most of these today. So the first page and the first set of information here that I'm going to go over is going to be industry, employment, and wages. This data is updated each month, and it's really helpful to see what's going on and allow for historical comparison. And something else I wanted to know is as I go through these, I'll have all of the referenced pages on the slide. So let's go over to the industry, employment, and wages page. So here's our page, and it helps provide a lot of context to see, which jobs are growing, which ones are shrinking, which ones in which industries. So this data visualization here, I just have it set to Arizona. If you go to total non-farm jobs here, you can see for all of the metro statistical areas as well as the state. So this is helpful to view by industry. So you can see, let me go back to where I was on leisure and hospitality. So for Arizona's leisure and hospitality, obviously that includes like restaurants, and you can see up here that right when COVID-19 started, there was a huge drop in employment overall, and especially in this industry, just because of COVID-19, all of us staying at home. So you'll see that the number of people employed in that industry went down a lot, and you can actually compare it to the Great Recession, which is what this gray bar here is. And you can see that, employment didn't decrease that rapidly during that time. So this graph up here shows information on the level or number of people employed within the industry. So I can hover over here and see as of March 2021, about 282K people are employed within this industry. Down here, it shows the information for the change from month to month. So right here, you'll see this huge decline in the industry in April 2020 when we began to feel the effects of COVID-19 within our economy. And then it goes back up, and there have been fluctuations ever since. So this is really great to compare, and especially to the previous recession, and just different patterns. Like this is total non-farm employment. You can see the drop here that happened right at the start of COVID-19, and all of that information. And you can also adjust the date. So if you want to zoom in on a date, so to speak, you can do that as well, and you can see the patterns, from the past 5 years a little more clearly. And if you do not like the visualization or anything like that, we do have the information that creates these tables or these graphs in this table right here. So you can see currently how many people are, employed in Arizona or the industry you select. And then how many people were employed last month, the monthly change, yearly change, etc. And again, if you don't like any of this and you just want the spreadsheet, we do have the spreadsheet that we update each month. Okay, so switching over to occupational employment and wages. When I showed the industry employment page, you can see information on the industry related to financial activities, finance and everything, but you can't see what the wages are for someone who's an accountant or in the financial activities field. So this is where occupational employment and wages information comes in handy. This is really great for showing difference in salaries for an occupation by place of residence, since these do often differ, by where you live. And it's also great for workforce planning. It can show clients the expected wages for a chosen occupation in their area. But one thing I wanted to note about this data is just that it's only updated each year. The 2020 data for wages just came out, and so that will be updated on our website later this week. And we do have a high level of geographic detail as well for the state, counties, the metro statistical areas down to that workforce area level. So let me go over there. So I just went ahead and preloaded this and went through, but this is our occupational employment and wages tool. We will be updating it very soon with the 2020 information that just came out. For example, if I wanted to compare between Arizona and if you'll notice, reloaded on me. Okay, I've had these pages sitting here, so sometimes they'll do that. They shouldn't do that if you just go to the page fresh, but so I'll show you this again. So if I wanted to compare between the state and a metro area, so I would go to geography, hit apply, and say I want to compare between Sierra Vista and Arizona. And say I want to compare accountants. Say I want to see the difference in salaries for accountants in Arizona and Sierra Vista. So this is what would populate here, and you'll see the SOC code. That's how these are generated. So you'll see in Arizona overall, there's about 22,000 accountants. This is the mean and median and entry level salary. You can see the differences for Sierra Vista, what those salaries compare there. If you need this information by hourly for some type of analysis or for a client or anything like that, you can hit wage type and it'll go to hourly. So you can see that there. So, I mean, I could do a whole presentation just going over different things to compare and everything, but the main thing is just you can choose the geography. You have county, metro, statewide, or workforce area, and then you choose your specific areas based off of the selections you made. And then you can find the specific occupation, and these are done by SOC code. You can see the information here for the wages. All right, so moving on to information that we get requests for a lot is unemployment information. So that includes information on the labor force, how many people are unemployed, and the unemployment rate. This information is updated within our press release each month, so it's very up to date. We have a high level of geographic detail on this information for the U.S., the state, counties, MSAs, and then also select cities and towns, and that includes a lot of rural areas, and I'll show you how to access that. And this is on our webpage, and it's really good because you can compare the number of people unemployed and the unemployment rate to another area. So say this is the unemployment rate for Arizona, 6.7%. And say if I wanted to know the unemployment rate for Cochise County, then I would hit seasonally adjusted no, and then go, let's do Coconino County. And I can see how the unemployment rate compares there to the state. So really good for comparison. And also the way that you're going to be able to access the more rural information that we produce, and we're the only people to my knowledge who produce these estimates and publish them. So say if you want to know what unemployment looks like in Bisbee, then you would go to Cochise County, since that is where Bisbee, the county that it's located in. Make sure seasonally adjusted no, choose your date. This is the most recent information that we have available in March 2021. And you can see the unemployment rate in Bisbee, the number of people unemployed, a lot rural information for areas where it might be difficult to find. So I really recommend this tool for that. If you don't really like this and you just want the spreadsheet, scrolling down here, we do have all of the spreadsheet information for the cities, counties, and the state and metro statistical areas. Moving on to some different unemployment indicators that we've been looking at, especially since COVID-19 started. So we've been looking at unemployment insurance claims. So people who initially file for unemployment and people who continue to receive unemployment claims. These are updated each week, and then they're put together each month as well. These are reported nationwide and statewide. The official claims are, and then We also provide these by counties, and these are specific subset. The county data is a subset, and it's called a subset because not everybody has to fill out some of the information that's included. So that includes things like age, education, industry, and occupation. And I'll show you the difference on those as well on our tools and how different ways that you can use them. So going back to our unemployment page, so these are the official US and Arizona weekly claims that are the full picture. We actually do get these from DES. And you can see the number of people who have filed for unemployment, the number of people who are continuing to receive unemployment. And this table here is what makes up this graph. And you'll see that crazy spike right in April 2020 when COVID-19 began. Similar to what I was talking about with the industry employment, where there was that huge drop in unemployment, that also ended up, a lot of people who lost their job obviously ended up filing for unemployment. This information is here, most recent data available. And then this information down here, you'll see subset. This bottom half of the visualization is that subset data that's available by county. And this is helpful because you can look at the age, education, industry, ethnicity of people filing for unemployment statewide. So for example, say if you are in Pinal County and you want to see the number of people, the age group that's most filing for unemployment. So here, as of this week, it's the 25 to 34 age group. I can also see the former industry of people who are filing for unemployment and see which industries are having the most unemployment claims. So in Coconino County, accommodations and food services that week is having the most claims filed. I can see, is that true maybe in Maricopa County? And I mean, there is a good chunk of people in accommodations and food services, but the largest amount of people filing for unemployment are in administrative and waste services and retail trade. So that's kind of where this data comes in handy beyond just this number that's reported statewide here that shows how many people are filing for unemployment. All right, so moving on to unemployment to demographic information. This information is often requested for things like grant writing. People usually need to know things like educational attainment or the poverty rate. This information comes from the U.S. Census Bureau. It's updated each year by the Census Bureau. And the geographic detail that we have on our website includes the state, counties, and cities. But if you're familiar with the American Community Survey, they have information down to the block level. So if you ever need more detailed information, feel free to reach out, but I'll show you the resources that we have available there. So this is part of the population section of our website that I was talking about earlier. These are some of their resources here. So we have the state, county, and city demographic information. I'll just leave it on Avondale, but you can see we have a lot of areas available for Arizona. So you can see population by education, the gender breakdown, the poverty rate, which I know people often request from us for, if they're writing a grant or something like that, they need to know the poverty rate for that area. We also have population by age, which is helpful, especially on the workforce side, to know how many people are going to be coming into the labor force, how many people are going to be going out. So for example, Avondale has a really young population, so a lot of people are going to be moving into the labor force, whereas some other areas, they might have a higher proportion of people who are 55 plus, and those people, because of retirement, will likely be exiting the labor force. So just a lot of different information that you can tell from that alone. And like I said, there are a lot of geographies and different information that is available here. And the next resource that we have available is the OEO projections. These show projected growth short-term, so 2-year and long-term of industries and occupations. We update these each year. Just a couple months ago, we updated our short-term, and then just in 2 weeks, we'll be coming out with the new long-term projections. These have a very high level of geographic detail. So for the state, counties, and workforce areas, all of this information here is projected. And we have 800 plus occupations that we project for, and nearly 100 industries. So this information here is our projections page. And on this projections tool, you can actually toggle between the short-term and long-term projection. We have all of the local areas, counties, and state available in this visualization. I'll just leave it on short-term, and I moved it to Coconino County. For example, in Coconino County, say if you want to see which industry in the short term is going to have the highest number of jobs added, I can go ahead and click this little arrow and it'll sort them for me. I can see that leisure and hospitality through 2022 is expected to have the highest number of jobs added, and so on. So this is a really great tool, especially, like I said, for workforce and economic planning. We also have this information available on this page. So I was here, industry projections, so for occupations. We also have this information available for the short-term and long-term projections by occupation. So earlier in the month, I talked about that broad SOC code group. We have the projections for that. And then we also have them down to the specific unique 6-digit SOC code as well. So for example, if I'm in the city of Phoenix and I want to take a look at specific information, let's see the construction occupations, that broad group, how many jobs they're projected to add over this time frame within the city of Phoenix. So a lot to explore here. And these are all done by SOC codes, the broad groups, and then the more detailed, unique 6-digit codes that I'd gone over a couple weeks ago. And again, if you don't like this, we also have this information by spreadsheet as well. All right, so usually the last resources that I go over are going to be the in-demand industries and occupations. That was what the presentation last week was about, so I'll just very briefly go over it. We have a methodology that determines the in-demand industries and occupations using historic employment and wage growth, knowledge, skills, and abilities, and we use those projections that I went over back here. Those are also used in them, so I would always argue that the in-demand industries are the most comprehensive view of all of the information, which is why when I reviewed the information at the beginning, I recommended going over it, going to that information first, especially if you're, working with a client or anything like that.